My mother-in-law said, "Real mothers don't abandon their children." I was holding the bill for her cancer treatment. My husband nodded in agreement. I smiled and said, "You're absolutely right." Then I went upstairs and packed our bags. Earlier that evening, I'd gotten home from a 12-hour ER shift, still in my scrubs, exhausted. Emma was in my arms, fresh from her bath, chattering about her day with the babysitter. I'd set Patricia's latest medical bill on the kitchen counter, $2,400 due by Friday. Another month, another bill I'd somehow have to cover. Sarah works way too much, Patricia said, cutting her steak. Emma barely knows her own mama. Jake nodded. Maybe you should cut back on hours. The irony was insane. I was killing myself to pay for Patricia's cancer treatments. The mortgage Jake couldn't cover, the groceries, the utilities, everything. But sure, I was the problem. You're right, I said quietly, picking up that bill. I am abandoning someone. They smiled, thinking they'd won. They had no clue what was coming. Let me paint you a picture of my life. I'm Sarah, 29, nurse practitioner in Denver. My salary, $87,000 a year. Jake's contribution to our household, $0. Zero. Nothing. For 4 years, he's been finding himself. Cryptocurrency. Food truck dreams. A novel that's been stuck on chapter 3 since 2019. Meanwhile, I've been finding the money for literally everything. When Patricia got cancer 10 months ago, she moved in with us. Guess who stepped up? Her treatments cost $2,400 a month after insurance. Her medications, her special diet, her living expenses. I kept track of everything, not to be petty, but to stay sane. Patricia's medical bills, $24,000. Mortgage payments. Jake forgot, $18,000. Everything else, $35,000. Total. I'd spent keeping this family alive, $77,000. And my reward? Daily lectures about being a terrible mother. Sarah's always at work, Patricia would tell anyone who'd listen. Poor Emma doesn't even know her mama. Jake never defended me, not once. That night, I was done. Completely done. I wasn't the problem, I was the solution they'd been taking for granted. Time to remove the solution. I didn't scream, didn't throw dishes. That's not who I am. But I was furious. My hands were shaking as I held that bill. $77,000. I'd spent Emma's entire college fund on adults who criticized me for working. Friday morning, I called in sick. First time in over a year. While Jake was at his networking breakfast and Patricia was getting chemo, I started planning. Found a 2-bedroom apartment across town. Applied online. Got approved in an hour because my credit was excellent. Hired movers for the weekend. Packed Emma's things. Her clothes, toys, books, my medical textbooks. The few things that were actually mine. Left behind the expensive furniture I'd bought. The 65-inch TV Jake insisted we needed. All of Patricia's medical equipment taking over our living room. Saturday morning, I dressed Emma in her favorite purple dress. "Where are you taking her?" Patricia asked from the couch. "Just running some errands. We'll be back later." Biggest lie I'd ever told. We were never coming back. Our new apartment was everything. Bright, clean, peaceful. Emma thought it was an adventure. New house, Mama? Yes, sweetheart. Our house. For the first time in months, I could actually breathe. No Patricia criticizing my parenting. No Jake's projects everywhere. No medical bills stacked on the counter. Just me and my daughter. Finally. I cried that first night. Not sad tears, relief tears. Like I'd been holding my breath for years and finally remembered how to exhale. My phone started buzzing Sunday morning. Jake, Patricia. 23 missed calls. Where are you? This isn't funny, Sarah. Come home right now. You're being selfish. I turned off my phone and took Emma to the zoo instead. We ate cotton candy, watched the penguins swim. She laughed at the monkeys jumping around. Just being free. Monday, 11:15 a.m., Jake called while I was at work. "Sarah, what the hell? The rent was due yesterday. There's no money in the account." I was between patients drinking coffee in actual peace. "What do you mean?" "Your automatic transfer. It didn't happen." "Oh, that." I took another sip. "I closed that account." Silence. Then, "You what?" Opened a new one. In my name only. "You can't do that? How are we supposed to pay bills?" The audacity was unbelievable. "You'll figure it out. The same way you figured out how to call me a bad mother while I paid for your mother's cancer treatment." "Sarah, stop being dramatic." "Jake, I have patience. Good luck with the rent." I hung up. My hands weren't shaking anymore. An hour later, Patricia called. Her voice was panicked, confused. "Sarah, honey, there's been some mistake. The hospital says my payment was declined." That's because I was covering your copays out of my own pocket. But I can't afford... I know, most hospitals have financial assistance programs. You should look into that. Long silence. Reality was hitting. Their invisible ATM machine named Sarah was gone. By Tuesday, Jake had called my work so many times that HR had to intervene. The messages got more frantic by the hour. Sarah, please, we can work this out. Mom's scared about her treatment. Emma needs her father. We're going to lose the house. I felt guilty for exactly 30 seconds. Then I remembered Patricia calling me a bad mother while I paid for her life. Thursday evening, security called from the lobby. Ma'am, there's a Jake Morrison here. Tell him I'm not available. I watched from my window as he paced the parking lot, looking up at the building, searching for the woman who used to solve all his problems. She was gone. Friday brought pure panic. Patricia called from the hospital. They want $2,400 by Monday, or they'll postpone my treatment. Have you applied for financial assistance? What? What programs? Google it, Patricia. I'm sure you'll figure it out. That weekend, Jake's entire family called. His sister, his father, 3 family friends, all delivering the same message. I was selfish, vindictive, cruel. I gave them all the same response. Jake and Patricia are adults. They'll figure it out. Monday brought the call I'd been expecting. Jake's voice was different now, smaller, defeated. We lost the house. I'm sorry to hear that. The bank said, they said you'd been covering the mortgage for over 2 years. That's correct. I didn't realize, I almost laughed. Jake, you signed the refinance papers last year. You knew exactly what we owed. Long pause. Then the admission that changed everything. I thought your salary was higher. I thought we were both contributing somehow. The delusion was staggering. Jake, in 4 years of marriage, you've contributed $0 to our household. But my investments lost money every single month. The truth just sat there between us. What do you want me to do? Get a job, any job. McDonald's is hiring. Your mother can apply for Medicaid. You can live with your sister until you figure your life out. And Emma? Emma stays with me. I'm her mother, her only functioning parent. Jake hired a lawyer with his dad's money, said I'd abandoned the family, accused me of financial abuse. My attorney, Rebecca, just smiled. He has no case. You have 4 years of bank records proving you were the sole provider. The custody hearing was embarrassing. Jake couldn't answer basic questions about Emma's routine. Her pediatrician's name, her favorite foods. When asked about his employment, he stumbled through explanations about building his personal brand. I had documentation for everything. Every doctor's appointment I'd taken her to. Every daycare pickup. Every purchase I'd made for her. The judge awarded me primary custody. Jake got supervised visits every other weekend. Child support, $450 a month, from a man with no job. Patricia moved in with Jake's sister. Her treatment continued through charity care, something she could have applied for 10 months earlier if anyone had bothered to research it instead of expecting me to pay. 8 months later, my life was unrecognizable. Without supporting 2 grown adults, my stress disappeared overnight. My paychecks actually belong to me and Emma now. I bought her clothes that weren't on clearance, enrolled her in a Montessori school with art classes. We took weekend trips to the mountains, stayed in actual hotels. I started therapy, something I'd wanted but couldn't afford while funding everyone else's life. You weren't being a good wife, Dr. Martinez told me. You were being exploited. For the first time since Emma was born, I had energy for myself. Joined a hiking group, started reading again, even went on some dates. Emma was thriving too. Away from the constant criticism and tension, she became confident, talkative. Her teachers talked about her emotional growth and creativity. My little girl was flourishing because her mama was finally putting herself first. 12 months later, Jake called on a Tuesday evening. Sarah, I got a job. I paused, stirring pasta. Congratulations. It's warehouse work, loading trucks, 40 hours, benefits. That's wonderful, Jake. I wanted to apologize. For everything. For not defending you, for not working, for taking you for granted. You held everything together, and I was too proud to see it. I watched Emma coloring at her little table. Safe, happy, loved. I appreciate you saying that. Mom's in remission, by the way. The charity program worked out fine. She said she never realized you were paying for everything. I'm glad she's better. Sarah, is there any chance we could try again? I'm different now. I understand what I lost. I looked around our bright apartment. The peace, the freedom, the knowledge that every bill was paid, every decision was mine. Jake, I'm happy you're getting your life together, but I'm not the same person. I learned to put myself first, and I'm never going back. After I hung up, Emma looked up from her drawing. Mama, are you sad? No, baby, I'm free. Here's what I learned. Being called selfish by people who used you isn't an insult. It's a promotion. I wasn't abandoning my family. I was finally showing up for myself and my daughter. Emma deserves a mother who values herself, who doesn't teach her that love means financial martyrdom. Jake had to get a real job. Patricia had to learn about assistance programs. They both had to grow up. And me? I had to learn that being a good mother doesn't mean sacrificing everything for people who see your sacrifices as their right. They called me cruel for leaving when they needed me most. But the truth is, they never needed me. They needed my paycheck. Now Emma and I have something they can never take away: self-respect. If you've ever been the only one holding everything together while everyone else tears you down, this is your sign. Walk away. The people who truly love you will understand. The people who don't, well, they'll learn to survive without you. Have you ever had to choose between being used and being free? What would you have done in my situation? If this story gave you the courage to value yourself, hit that like button and subscribe. Because sometimes the most important stories are about everyday women finding their strength.